Hello and welcome to the Juice Crew podcast. It's here, it's out, we are live. This is what you guys have been waiting for.
Yo, I can't believe we doing it, fellas.
Like, we're doing it, bro. We're actually doing it. Like we're live right now. Like we're actually recording right now. I can't believe it. Like from where we came from to start of college to now, like who'd have thought?
I wouldn't definitely not thought. What do you think? You know, like we weren't talking about this back in PC at all.
Exactly. If you would have told me, I'd be doing a podcast with my family, a couple years ago, I wouldn't have believed you.
No. But we got a lot in store for you guys today. You know, we're gonna tell you guys why we want to speak on this podcast. You know, I think that's important. Who the Juice Crew is. D'Lo, what else are we getting into today?
Well, we're going to be talking about who the Juice Crew is. We're going to give you guys a little bit of a background story on each of us, honestly. You guys will be able to kind of hear where we came from, how our paths collide, and in essence, how trust me, you guys are probably in for a little bit of a roller coaster ride to see how they actually did collide. A lot of people don't know our background story on how we actually did first meet before college. So, you guys will hear a little bit of story on that. We'll be talking about what to expect on our podcast between, some sports debates, interviews, giveaways, life after sports, all those good things. And then we're going to get into our closing message where we got something a little special lined up for you guys, to say the least. So, but before we begin, we each wanted to just grab a cup. I want everybody to sit down, get comfortable for the best ride of your lives. Grab a drink and enjoy. Cheers to this, fellas. Cheers to episode 1. Right?
Cheers to episode 1.
Cheers, everybody.
Now, the key to the drink is you guys don't necessarily know what's in this cup. What we can tell you is it isn't alcohol yet, but we have an ambition as the Juice Crew, and we will land a sponsor. I don't think, and we don't doubt that. And when we do,
no doubts,
you will know what's in our cup. But until then, it will be a mystery.
Yep. So whoever wants to sponsor us first, we're open. I'm open to suggestions. Just saying. But anyway, I guess first let's get into our names real quick. I don't. For those who don't know, my name is David. They call me D'Lo.
Ty Lin, or they call me Fly Lin, or Fly, or the Fly Man. So if you hear anything fly,
this guy's got a lot of nicknames.
I know, man, a lot.
The nickname King. My name is Landon. You can also call me L or LG. So you might wonder how we met. It wasn't always smiles from the beginning. Me and Ty actually went to rival middle schools.
Yeah,
St.
man.
Andrews and St. Brandon's. How was the rivalries first before I dig into the story?
You know what? That rivalry did teach me a lot, because I think that being at St. Andrews, like clearly my team wasn't too talented. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hate to be putting anyone on blast that was playing with me back in those days.
Real quick, let's get to the bottom of this real quick. You say your team wasn't that good. What does that exactly mean? It was Landon's team over there giving y'all the business? Was he giving y'all that work, that smoke, or what was happening in that matchup, Ty? Let's not gloss over that.
I should put it in context a little bit, because my brother my brother went to St. Andrews. This is before my brother retired and everything. We shared the court for 1 year, and I was in 5th grade, And this is when the league was back in Patterson, New Jersey, Patterson Catholic. People know that league. You know what? We were rivals, but I think there was one school, L, that nobody liked, D'Lo, and it was Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel.
Because there was a rule that you could get 2 players from the church parish that didn't have to go to the school, but their whole team's from Patterson.
Wow. So like Mount Carmel, y'all some fucking cheaters, bro. Y'all some fucking cheaters. Hear it from here. Y'all some cheaters. Sound like
we were 16 years old in the 8th grade. That's the type of competition,
Sheesh.
But yeah, no. I think that the series was much more competitive. My 8th grade year, things got interesting. 30-point loss, though. I will never co-sign to that. I wasn't at that game. I don't know. I wasn't at that game. I didn't lose by 30. Someone else lost by 30. I was somewhere else.
Man.
So my side of the story. So in 7th grade, I had a couple of guys with me. I had a center. Had my neighbors, Salim and Ali. Shout out to them. They'll recall the same story. But 7th grade, we end up seeing Ty. Granted, he was by himself. I'll give him that. We kind of kind of outnumbered him on that one, but you know, we were able to secure the victory. I won't put it on blast and say by how much. You know, I'll leave that between me and
man. Well, let's do a ballpark. Was it like 10,
Look,
20,
see,
30,
just
40?
just know. No. That's a good question for one day. The worst loss we've ever taken in a basketball game.
I'll tell you, I don't want to talk about that. That may have happened just last night. I don't even want to talk about that, to be honest with you. But, from my point of view, the first time I saw both of you guys was in high school for me.
Yeah.
So many people don't know, we went to rival high school. So they went to Paramus Catholic together. I went to Bergen Catholic. I guess before I get into that story, talk about how you guys went from, you know, being those middle school rivals and how coming into PC, you know, you guys have a whole new outlook now. You guys are about to be teammates. What was that really like for you guys?
I mean, it wasn't, you know, like at first, like I think that, you know, because I grew up, I was like around Newark, and then I played like some AAU ball in Teaneck, so I was over around Jersey a lot, and so I obviously, you know, we played against each other in elementary school, but I mainly like I'm definitely more outgoing than I am now. I kind of low key. I think Elle did too. I kind of came in with my head down almost a little bit, and like we knew each other, you know, and we knew we were gonna be on a team together. But it definitely was a little process to it was, but not a long one. I'd probably say like maybe a week, not even, maybe a little bit more than a week. And you know, I'll let Elle get into it a little bit more, but. Man, I think I came in a little bit kind of quiet, kind of my head down. I had a lot of new faces that I hadn't seen in some time. So, like, you know, I was just trying to fill everything out, get comfortable, and, you know, get ready to be at PC. My brother had been there, so I knew a few people, but no people really in my class.
I can tell you this much. I already know from Landon's point of view, since he was the one doing the ass kicking, it sounds like, in the middle school process, he probably came in a lot more comfortable than Ty did. Look like, yo, I came in kicking this dude's team ass the whole time, bro. Fuck, I'm going to dap him up. Be like, yo, what's good? Smiles, it's all good on this end, Ty. I know that had to hurt you a little bit.
I wouldn't say that. I was, you know, definitely as cautious as Ty was. You know, we were rivals, so the first day of school wasn't like I was going up to him saying, hey, best friend, how you been, you know. So I definitely had to feel each other out, but once... You know, we came together, we realized we were on the same team, we had the same goal, same mission, you know, just went.
Also,
together.
We had a lot going on. I think our freshman year, we had a coach maybe for, how many games did he coach us for? Like maybe one or two games? But he had a son on varsity, and then his son got into it with the varsity coach, and so, man. His son got into it with the varsity coach, and he got into it with the varsity coach, so... Our freshman coach almost got he did get unseat. He got someone took over like 3 games into the season, and we're just like, okay, you know, keep it rolling. But
hey, reference, this is the first time I'm hearing this story too, actually, by the way, guys. So I'm grabbing my popcorn just like y'all are, to be honest. That's dope. I guess that comes to our story now. So. All right, so now paint this picture. We got Tylen and Landon both at Paramus Catholic. They're teammates now coming into high school. So I guess I'll bring it back to the beginning. So we have a mutual friend who's also actually in the Juice Crew, for clarification. His name is Tommy Pencaldo. We both grew up in the same town, Elma Park, New Jersey. I remember when he used to be speaking on when he was going to Paramus Catholic, he would be bragging. He would always be talking about, I'm going to PC, this, that, and the third. I decided to go to Bergen Catholic. Now, for those who know in the Jersey area, Bergen Catholic and Paramus Catholic is a huge rivalry throughout all sports, football, basketball, baseball, all that different stuff. Huge rivalry. So I guess the first time I think I really even remember seeing Ty and Landon was probably, I want to say it's probably our junior year where I really remember playing you guys. Yeah. Like freshman year, like I don't know if I would think we actually did share the court freshman and sophomore year. Well, actually maybe not sophomore year. Were you guys on varsity sophomore year?
Not till the end of the season. I think I played like the last 6. It was weird. It was a weird sophomore year. I literally didn't touch varsity, played one game or a half of one game, and then like started the last 4 or 5 games. It was crazy. But no, Probably not. Not too much.
So what about freshman year? Were you guys on the freshman team? See, at Bergen,
Freshman we played freshman. And actually, the one game you might remember is I think we were playing in the county tournament, or we were playing maybe a Christmas tournament.
Tournament.
I remember we were playing against you guys for sure, in like a freshman Christmas tournament. And I think it was a neutral site. I don't think either of us were home. Maybe like a St. Mary's or something. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I will say, and I think I'm pretty open to admit this, like, I wouldn't really even consider the rivalry on the basketball end for the first 2-3 years. Like, I mean, there was no way we were holding the candle to Bergen Catholic the first couple years. Like,
look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and this is not coming from an individual talent standpoint, but from a team's talent standpoint, I never considered it really had people for rivalry. What made it a rivalry in my head, honestly, what got me hyped up was Tommy, because Tommy used to be in the rec all summer long, hyping up this matchup, talking about, we got this guy the third, we're going to kick y'all ass. And I'm sitting back there and I'm like, Tommy, first of all, you got to get in the game, bro. Before you start talking all that rah-rah. Second of all, you better come. You better be coming, Tommy. That's all I'm saying. You better be coming, Tommy. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I feel what you're saying. Definitely the discrepancy from our teams was definitely a little bit measured. You guys obviously had some talent. I'm not discrediting being, Paramus is talented at all. It's just that at Bergen at the time, we had some big time. We had some big time recruits. Let's put it like that. We had guys coming in from other countries, all this, that, and the third. Whereas you guys were dealing with probably a smaller player pool. But you guys definitely had some talent. Like, by any stretch of the imagination, they had about what? How many college? I mean, these two were two college D3 players at the end of the day. Plus, they had another Division I player playing. It was no slouch. It wasn't like there were some slouches out there. It's just.
The thing is, there's a difference, and I think you guys understand. Like, there's basketball teams and there's basketball programs, and I think that Bergen had more. Like, even Bosco, St. Joe's. Like, I feel like all those schools in our conference had a basketball program, and I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I mean the resources just weren't dedicated to the basketball team all that much at PC. The football team. Get a Jabril Peppers, people get little Peppers, it changes. And that led to Rashawn Gary, and now we got multiple football players, Donald Stewart, like going D1. So, you could tell they were prioritizing that a little bit more than basketball. So, the one thing that was really cool, though, I think is, like, we almost built it from the ground up. And so, like, when we get to senior year and our team's competing and, we're making a county run, like, that all felt super rewarding because I'm like, I went here 3 years and like it feels like it started to pay off. It was like a process almost. Sure. So that felt like that was important for sure.
What I want to do next is I want to get into some introductions from each of us. Yeah. Talk about a little bit about myself. I mean, I can kind of kick it off here. Tell you a little about my story. So, like I mentioned before, I grew up in a small town, Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Real small town, one high school. How many we had? One high school, one middle school, and we both shared the building, by the way. I think it was like 2 or 3 elementary schools. So we're talking a real small town here. So my whole life was really revolved around sports. I mean, I think I played on my first sport team, organized sport team in 5th grade. I actually played baseball first. Baseball was my first sport. So coming in 5th grade, it was the first year I played on an organized team. And then the next year when I got to 6th grade, I integrated basketball into that. Then I continued baseball and basketball up until 8th grade where I added football. And then I was a 3-sport athlete, football. And 8th grade is where everything kind of took off. I played all 3 sports. Basketball, I played on 1, 2, 3 different teams at the same time. I was playing in St. Leo's Catholic Church. Shout out to them. By the way, we was I think we was 34, 35, and 1 that year. And the one game we lost, Nolan and Marcus, shout out to my boys out there. Y'all remember that one game we lost. We shouldn't have lost. Anyway, they got lucky on us. Pretty much they got lucky on us that day. I'm going to call it lucky, too. Y'all got real lucky. They won by 2. And, yes, I missed the game-winning shot. Ask Nolan Van Rye. He'll tell you himself because he feels like he should have took that shot. But I had 30 that game, so I don't know where he gets that from. But anyways, so then moving on to high school, that's when I kind of, 8th grade year is where I started to get some recruitment, some steamroll recruitment for football and basketball. My first year of football, playing in 8th grade, I won Offensive Player of the Year. I scored in every game, so I gained big traction at Bergen Catholic actually to be a football player. But what came along with that was, Billy Armstrong, the coach of Bergen Catholic, actually saw me play basketball as well and recruited me over to his AAU team. So he was the only basketball coach out of the Catholic schools that were recruiting me that wanted me to also play basketball at the end of the day. Like everybody else was just recruiting me to play football, and everybody knew basketball was my favorite sport at the time. Like I loved basketball. I just wanted to play basketball mainly. That was my main focus. So I decided to go to school that is coming for basketball purposes as well. So I choose to go to Bergen Catholic, and then this is, like I said, where the rivalry begins between the PC Bergen Catholic thing. This is where we officially meet. And then, we kind of go from there. But that's how I ended up at Bergen. You guys want to talk about some of your background story, how you guys ended up?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna take it like a little bit of reverse, like kind of what I'm doing now, and then like rewinding it all the way back to like kind of me getting into sports. And so, like for those of you who don't know, like I currently work at a very large asset manager, just doing investments, and it's so far from what I thought because a lot of us athletes, we grow up we're like, I'm going to the NBA or I'm going to the NFL, and so
True.
I very much thought that that wasn't the realm of possibility. I mean, when you're younger, I'm putting in 2 workouts a day, going to run hills, and then I'm going to the courts, and I'm putting like another 2 hours in on the court. So like I'm putting time in, but really sports for me, I felt like it was like an outlet / a savior. My like growing up in Newark, like there was this basketball courts around. It was the one in East Orange I'd go to, or the one at Westside Park. If you guys didn't see the intro or the promo video for Juice Crew podcast, go watch it. You'll see where it's at. But I would just kind of play from a very young age. I think my first time playing organized basketball was actually like 7 or 8. Like I had my shorts going down up to my ankles. Grandma at the game taking pictures and laughing, but. I really love basketball. I did dabble in football. I started with flag, and flag was cool. As soon as we put the pads on, I didn't want to hit nobody.
That's how it
is. It was cool. I mean, I like being a running back. I didn't really want to get hit, so that was beneficial because I was moving around. But I think that being like in Newark, like the basketball was big. It was big in the city. It was big, kind of And I would play all over. So one of my AAU team, travel team, shout out to Faces. Faces, a lot of people don't know about Faces, but it was home to a lot of the top, D1 basketball players even today. Like Shaquan Gibbs went to NJIT, RJ Cole, Howard, and now UConn. Temple Gibbs played for Faces. Bryce Aiken, who played for Harvard, played for Faces. Ray Montelis ended up going to Pace, which is D2. So Faces had a lot of good recruits. Brandon Anderson played for Faces a little bit. He went to Brown and Don Bosco. So we always on the same team, like 8, 9U, like going to Florida, playing the national championship and everything. And so those were some of the best days, some of my favorite days, just being on the road, going to Disney, getting that travel experience, 9 years old, playing at a high level. And honestly, I just knew that I'd keep working hard and the NBA would be in sight. And ultimately, that didn't end up happening, and we're at a very different point now. But, I think I'll leave it there. I think there's so much more to get into there for later episodes and maybe, to talk to and just want to dabble in it. But that's kind of how I got into basketball mainly. Little football run. Don't really want to talk too much about that. If you guys want some funny stories, they might come throughout the time, but mainly basketball.
Baseball guy in the beginning.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was actually a little,
a little slugger.
Okay, I remember I had an inside the park home run. I'll never forget that. That was my only baseball highlight, but never forget that. You can never take that away from me. But originally I was a baseball guy, but then I just stopped playing because it was just too slow. Standing on the bases and waiting for the pitch. I just needed, I was a young, wide-eyed kid. I just needed to run up and down on a court.
Yep.
So, and then also I had an older brother named Lionel. Shout out to Lionel. He also was into basketball. So as a younger brother, naturally you just follow the older brother's lead. So when I see him working out in the morning in my backyard, I want to put up shots with him too. So, and just with basketball, I was able to just develop so many relationships. just meeting different people at Birchwood Park. You will see it in the intro video as well. But meeting, just brothers really through this game, meeting you guys, and just positive influence that changed my life, just because of the sport.
Yeah. I think what's crazy is how we all got introduced to basketball. As you hear, all of our stories are a little bit different. Like, mine coming from a small town, not much to do, basketball court being right there. I was just always outside. That's how I really kind of got introduced to the game and just watching it. Ty, from your point of view, like as an out, like you mentioned, like an outlet to get kind of out of where you were, like a safe haven space, like a safe space for you. L, you following in your brother's footsteps. It's just crazy how sports can really just bring people from different backgrounds, all different types of backgrounds together because of just different commonalities that you may have with the sport in general. Where I want to kind of transition into is people want to know who we are as the Juice Crew, how the name started, some of the members that are in the Juice Crew, because they're, like I mentioned before, Tommy's also in the Juice Crew. A couple other guys besides just the three of us sitting here today. But, Landon, take me through, who we are as the Juice Crew, how it kind of started, and maybe give a little bit of background on some of the other guys that aren't here today representing the Juice Crew.
You got it. So the Juice Crew, best summed up, is just rivals turned into brothers. We already covered our stories about how we went to rival schools, and then we joined up and became family. But I remember freshman year of college just meeting everybody, and during that time, in New Jersey, it was kind of a wave of everybody posting like the juice emoji. So, just basketball like guards would post the little juice emoji they have on the iPhone. So I remember us taking that and kind of just running with it, calling each other the Juice Crew. And just a couple of members, we talked about Tommy. Tommy's the shooter, of course. We have CB. CB is a phenomenal dude. Great hooper, 1,000 points.
Boy was a baller, boy. Let me tell you. Kid was a baller.
We also got Mikey V, Mike
Vick too. Mike Vick a hooper.
Defensive player of the year. Is another stud. Amazing dude. It's just a family atmosphere what we do with the Juice Crew and just how we all met. It was just a genuine, natural vibe with you guys. I know you guys have my back. I have your back. So
yeah. And I think that what's interesting about the Juice Crew is that when you think about us all getting recruited to go play at Rutgers Newark, it wasn't just the six of us in Juice Crew. Now it was we had 8 freshman recruits that year, and so there was just so much change. But there was one thing that was consistent, and it was that group of 6 people. And although Tommy wasn't necessarily recruited or playing basketball, even the coach got to know Tommy a little bit just because he's around all of us and made him feel at home. But I think that piece what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my man Chase Barney and CB, because we actually met over the summer, and we were both doing programs. I was doing a business program. He was in EOF, and we both were dorming over the summer. And so we were just we would always see EOF. EOS would always see us. We were the B stars. So I knew some of them. They knew some of us. And we were we always had the same free time. We're we're going to go to the gym. Let's get a basketball game, B-Star versus EOF. Now, mind you, I know CB kind of played basketball. He hooped a little bit, but this is my first time really seeing him. And I know neither of us going to go too crazy because season coming up, whatever. But, I'm going in, I'm I'm about to, I'm going to drop a couple cool buckets, I want to let him know that, I'm here. That game, we ended up winning. But CB was trying to get crazy. CB was hitting a little thing, CB was hitting a little step back, a little pull up. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I was like, that was when I knew college basketball was gonna be different. Being one of the best players on your high school team, coming into that and seeing that, even though we were kind of playing pickup, how you could tell someone got a little something.
Absolutely.
I was like, CB got a little something for real.
I think from my point of view, it's kind of crazy because I don't think I would ever imagine coming into college us being as close as we ended up getting because of the rivalry.
Yeah.
I'll tell this story. The first person I met in the Juice Crew, besides Tommy, because we grew up together, but was Ty Lin. I remember it was during the summer, and I came down to campus to pick something up. And what hall was it?
Hill Hall.
Hill Hall. So I'm going into Hill Hall for those Rutgers and Newark alumni or current goers. I'm going into Hill Hall to pick up something, and then I see Tylen there, and Tylen's like he waves me down. He's like, yo, like, because at this point we both know we both got recruited to play at Rutgers North. We both know at this time we both know we're coming here. Like, obviously we recognize each other. So he calls me over now. When he calls me over, in my head, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker right here. I don't like this. Like, yo, I don't like this boy right here, bro. I take my competition very seriously. So at first when I saw Ty, I'm like, man, what's this Joker want, bro? I don't want to talk to this boy. Like, y'all gotta understand, I've been hating this man for 4 years, bro. That's just it.
Yeah.
The natural nature of rivalries is just between that stone cold rivalry Bergen Catholic and Paramus Catholic had, not even just with basketball, but with everything. It was like hate. It's almost like hatred. Like, not generally at the person. It's just how it was at the time. You feel me? That's just what rivalries create. Some type of hatred. So in my head, I'm like, oh my god. And I knew Landon and Ty were both coming to Rutgers. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, how we were going to be teammates, but ultimately, I never thought we. You know what's actually funny too? I don't think us three have never played on a organized level team together, actually. Like, because for those who don't know, I quit my freshman year. Like, I went to the first couple workouts and I hung it up. I was like, because I already came into Rutgers North kind of on the fence about playing. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to play at the end of the day when I came to Rutgers North. So I came in after the first couple of workouts and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not on scholarship. Like, what is the point of this at the end of the day? I'm not getting paid to be here. It's just for fun. I kind of lost that drive for the game at that moment. So I hung it up at that point. But you guys continued through your freshman year. I mean, and you guys got to see full-on Coach Locke. The coach at Rutgers North, shout out Coach Locke, my mans. But y'all got to see Coach Locke in his freshman year form. But that just really reminded me. That's crazy that we've actually never played on an organized team together besides this men's league now.
I think it's like a breath of fresh air. I mean, it's funny though, because you think about, like, and I know that CB and Mike Vick, they still let us hear it to this day. They will not let us live that one down. That we didn't get a season of all of us in, and honestly, I hear them sometimes, because now that I think about it, looking back, like, I wonder what that one season would have been like.
It'd been crazy.
It would
have been crazy. But I'm telling you guys right now, if all of us stayed, if that core five that got recruited there of the Juice Crew stayed on the team, we would, for 4 years. We would have won an NJAC championship.
Yeah.
We would have won. I guarantee it. Like, I know for a fact.
Yeah.
We would have won an NJAC championship if we all stuck it out for 4 years. If all five of us, stuck it out for 4 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that's probably like next episode or another episode. Me and Landon have to get into, like, and all of us have to get into, like, and D-Lo touched on his decision to stop playing. Me and Landon both stopped playing sophomore year. And I think that was one of the hardest decisions I had to make in my life. Like, a game that I love so much that, like, I'm just like, almost like, it felt like retirement. Even though I was going to keep hooping, it was just like, you're not doing this at the highest level or that you possibly could anymore. And so I know that definitely changed things for sure. But I think that, I'm kind of like happy with the way everything went. We're all still brothers. We're all still cool. And I think the Juice Crew, we have a lot that we want to do, a lot we want to accomplish. And with that being said, Landon, what is one of the most exciting topics that you think is going to be fun to talk about, in this podcast? No, this is the intro episode, so we're not diving all the way into it. But what are you excited to talk about on this podcast?
Barbershop sports debates come up. We have NFL predictions. I have my MLB guys, NBA talk. We're going to talk about draft picks, everything going on, early championship contenders, who's going to win this year. Watch out for my Chicago Bulls.
Oh my gosh, here we go. You know what? I wasn't expecting that to come up.
Because I used to have to hear D-Rose Nidros in 2011 when he used to always get hurt. So now that we're actually okay again, let me scream that from the mountaintops. We also have my guy Tylen. Definitely has a bunch of stock information and tips. I can give out some financial advice. I think I know a little something. We'll see. And D-Lo has his business tips as well that we really just can't wait to get out with you guys and just help you.